Now we are going to create our abstract portraits, our asymmetrical abstract portraits with clay. So you're going to get a big thing of clay. You are going to break it so that you have 1/4 of the clay, and you're going to set that clay aside. You're going to use the big piece of clay and you're going to make a slab. A slab is a flat piece of clay. So you're going to take it. Make sure you don't sit there and play with your clay too much. If you play with it too much, it'll start to crack. So you're going to take it. I like to roll it in a ball first, so I cut my hands. Go back and forth like you're cooking hamburger meat, like burgers. And then once it's kind of in a circle, you're going to take it and put it down on the table. Make sure you only do that once. If you do it more than once, it really takes the moisture out of the clay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use the palm of your hand and you're going to make that slab, that flat piece of clay. So you're going to go move your hand around to make sure that it's all evenly spaced out. Alright, once you're there, you want to make sure that it's no thinner than your pinky. If it's too thin, it will crack in the kiln. And you want to measure it. So it needs to be about 6 to 7 inches tall and at least 5 inches wide. So right now I'm good. I can't cut too much off of this. Then you're going to look at your brainstorm paper and choose which one you were going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do this shape. You're going to use your Sgraffito stick and you are going to draw out your shape first. So I'm going to draw this out. Try to use as much clay as possible. You don't want to cut off too much clay. Alright, so now that I've used all the clay that I can and I've got the shapes that I want and I've drawn it in lightly, then you can go in with the Sgraffito stick and really cut into the clay. So I'm putting it straight down and cutting straight into that clay. Again, make sure you use all the clay necessary for the base, the slab part of your face. You can go in with the slip and kind of smooth those edges out just so you have a really nice smooth surface to work with. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to add textures. So actual texture to your clay. So we do this with drawings. Texture is something that you can feel. So we're going to use those texture boards and I would break up your face into 3 different parts. You're going to take the texture board and you're going to push. You need at least 3 textures. Just so you can see it better. You'll see those textures. Now the harder you push, the more you'll see the texture. Maybe I want this kind of texture down here. Texture is something that you can feel. So you're adding texture to your portrait. There's my second, and here's going to be my third. Notice I'm not pushing on these edges because I already have texture here. I'm just pushing in that middle. Alright, now you have your slab with your 3 textures. You're going to go in and add at least 5 attachments. So the attachments would be like the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears. You can have more than 5. That's where this extra clay comes into play. So you're going to set your slab aside. You're going to take this extra clay, roll it into a ball, create another slab, make sure it's not thinner than your pinky, and you can start to create the extra attachments. So I like to draw them out. So I know that my eye, I like to set this aside, needs to be about this big. So I'm going to kind of eyeball measure it. Draw it out first, and then cut through your clay. There's my first attachment. Make sure you go in and really smooth it out. So I'm not actually gluing it on just yet. I'm going to just place it. Then I know I need an iris. You can make circles like this and then smush it with your hand. And I need a pupil. So right now I already have 3 attachments. It's very easy to get a lot of attachments. Alright, now I know that I need a circle for the mouth. Make sure you measure it out. I know that it needs to be at least this big. So I'm going to draw it and then cut into my clay going straight down. And then I need to cut the inner circle. Next I've got my nose. So if you run out of space, you can roll this back up. Remember, try not to play with your clay too much, so the least amount of times that you can roll it up, the better. There would be my nose. I'm not going to continue to add all of my shapes just because I don't want to waste your time, but this is what it's looking like so far. I've got some organic shapes, some random shapes. I've got geometric shapes. And my face is an organic shape. So I'm making an asymmetrical. It's not the same on both sides, and it has 3 textures. Now in order to get these to stick, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, you want to make sure this is the 3rd most important thing when working with clay. You want to use what's called slip and your sgraffito stick, which is called scoring with it. So whatever you're sticking it to, you're going to make really rough lines and then go the opposite way to make X's. Wherever you're sticking it to, that's called scoring. Wherever you're going to stick it to, you need to make those X's. And then you're going to grab some slip. Slip is like the glue that holds it all together. And you're going to stick your eye down. You're going to do this to every piece. Make sure your name is on the back and your class code. There is my face. Let's review real quick. Make sure that you start off by taking your clay and ripping 1/4 of it off and using the big part. Make sure it's at least 6 to 7 inches tall and 5 inches wide. You're going to then roll it up in a ball. Make a slab, which is a flat piece of clay. Stamp in your actual textures. Use the extra clay to add your attachments. Make sure that when you're adding attachments, you always slip and score them. And make sure nothing is thinner than your pinky. Have fun, guys!